Levy 6JW252's Y6. They told you love was an emotion. They taught you it was something you feel when another person validates your existence. They made it seem like love was this elusive thing you chase, earn, or prove yourself worthy of. But they never told you that love is a frequency, and that frequency is your true origin. It's your natural state before fear was introduced, before doubt found a place in your mind, before you learned how to guard instead of glow. Love is not what you get, it's what you remember. And once you remember it, once you tune your life to that sacred energy, everything changes. You stop seeking love and start becoming it. You stop begging for alignment and start embodying it. Because love isn't found, it's unlocked. And the key is within you, always has been. You just needed to stop looking outward to realize that the very thing you were chasing was buried beneath your own silence, beneath your hurt, beneath your layers of performance. And the moment you decide that your life is no longer built on survival, but on truth, on intention, on resonance, your entire world starts to respond differently to you. You attract what you are, not what you want. You magnetize what you believe you deserve. You manifest what you've normalized in your nervous system. So when you shift your internal state to operate from love, not desperation, not approval seeking, not shame, you become a force of frequency so powerful that even your presence becomes healing. You become the person who walks into a room and doesn't compete for attention because your energy commands the space without effort. This isn't fantasy, this is resonance, this is science, this is soul. When you coach yourself to live from love, you learn how to alchemize rejection into redirection. You stop asking, why did this happen to me? And start understanding, what is this trying to free me from? Because love doesn't mean staying in places that diminish your worth. Love doesn't mean tolerating energy that confuses your spirit. Love means choosing you completely, consistently, courageously. And this is where most people falter because they were trained to equate self-love with selfishness. They were taught that being kind meant being small, that being open meant being walked on, that love was about sacrifice rather than expansion. But not you. You're here to unlearn all of that. You're here to become the love frequency coach of your own life. The guide, the vessel, the mirror. Love is not weak. It's not romantic poetry scribbled on the edge of longing. Love is strength. Love is clarity. Love is the power to be soft in a world that told you to harden. It is the courage to stay open even when you've been closed before. It's the audacity to trust again, not because others are perfect, but because you've rebuilt your inner world so completely that nothing outside of you has the authority to control you anymore. This level of love isn't dependent, it's divine, it's sourced. And when you start living in that energy, life feels different. Your timing gets better, your decisions get clearer, your peace becomes sacred. You no longer chase what doesn't serve you. You no longer beg for what you were born worthy of. You no longer settle for connections that don't see you, feel you, or rise with you. You begin to surround yourself with those who don't just like your light, but can handle its intensity. People who are not intimidated by your healing, but inspired by it. And even when people leave, because you don't make it about your worth. You make it about your alignment. You know now that anything not on the love frequency can't stay. Not because you're not enough, but because your energy has become too clear, too focused, too elevated. The love frequency doesn't just change how you relate to people, it changes how you relate to yourself. You begin to protect your peace like it's sacred ground because it is. You talk to yourself with kindness, not because it's trendy, but because you realize your inner dialogue is the foundation of your outer life. You speak affirmations not as wishful thinking, but as spiritual authority. You say, I am love, and you mean it. You say, I am whole, and you feel it. You say, I am worthy, and your body finally believes it. And when your body believes, your life receives. You begin to take actions that align with your worth. You stop staying in rooms that drain you. You stop entertaining confusion as chemistry. You stop accepting crumbs when you were born to feast. You realize that being alone is not a punishment, it's preparation. Alone is where you recalibrate, where you remember, where you rise. Because you can't access the love frequency while you're still addicted to fear. You can't activate alignment while you're still people-pleasing to avoid abandonment. The real shift happens when you can sit in solitude and still feel full. That's love. That's sovereignty. That's power. And when you carry that energy, you give off a different signal. People don't understand it at first. They'll say you've changed and you've upgraded, you've become the version of yourself who doesn't explain her glow, who doesn't justify her joy, who doesn't dim her frequency to make others comfortable. You rise and you keep rising. Because the love frequency doesn't apologize, it magnetizes, it doesn't beg, it blesses, it doesn't wait for approval, it moves in divine timing. And yes, there will be days when your old self wants to return. Days when you feel pulled back into lower vibrations, into fear, into comparison. But you'll catch it faster. You'll feel the misalignment sooner. And instead of shaming yourself, you'll coach yourself back home. You'll say, I know what this is. This is a test. But I've been here before. And now I choose love. Because love is always a choice. Every moment, every day, every breath. When someone disrespects you, choose love. Not by tolerating it, but by removing yourself with grace. When life delays something you prayed for, choose love. Not by doubting your path, but by trusting your pace. When your past tries to knock on the door of your present, choose love. Not by answering, but by honoring how far you've come. Love is boundaries. Love is discernment. Love is saying no when your soul is saying no, even if your trauma is saying yes. Love is not self-sacrifice, it's self-sovereignty. And the more you live in this energy, the more your life begins to reflect it. Things start falling into place, not because you control them, but because you become a match to the outcome you desire. You no longer manifest from lack. You manifest from love, from wholeness, from peace. And peace is the new power. You begin to see that your glow doesn't need to be proven, it just needs to be protected. Your energy doesn't need to be explained, it just needs to be felt. And anyone who's meant for you will recognize it, not because you said it, but because you radiated it. And that's the greatest lesson of the love frequency. You don't find love, you remember it, you become it, you live it. And when you do, the world around you responds. People show up differently, opportunities open, synchronicities increase. And it's not magic, it's alignment. You've cleared the static, you've tuned the signal, you've become the coach, the compass, the channel. You no longer chase, you attract. You no longer prove, you anchor. You no longer fear, you flow. This is your home now, this frequency, this way of being, this soft, strong, steady glow that doesn't flicker for anyone. And the more you live here, the more miracles become your normal. Not because you're lucky, but because you're aligned. And aligned people are unstoppable. So keep going, keep healing, keep choosing the frequency of love, even when the world offers you a million reasons not to, because you're not here to mimic the noise, you're here to be the melody, you're not here to fit in, you're here to elevate, to lead, to remind the world what's possible when a soul returns to love. You are not too sensitive. You are tuned in. You are not too emotional. You are emotional, intelligent. You are not too much. You are the exact vibration this world needs. Don't let it convince you otherwise. Because in the end, nothing is more powerful than a heart aligned with truth. Nothing is more magnetic than a soul that leads with love. And nothing is more unstoppable than someone who coaches themselves back into alignment again and again, no matter how hard it gets. You are the love frequency coach. You are the example. You are the light. So rise, speak, glow, and never ever stop choosing love.